CHOFF. Yup, it's the CHOFF.
It's gonna be just absolute.
We're gonna whisper right in there.
Menacing podcast.
It's gonna be menacing. It's gonna be magical, and it's not gonna have any hair because we got the bald daddies in the house today. What's up? Welcome to the CHOFF, fellas.
Hi. Excited to be here, man. Thank you.
I'm excited to have you guys. This is actually the first 3-person podcast we've ever had at Shoebox.
Dude, it'd be cool to get an aerial in here of just like how close we really are, but how far away we.
Yeah, we need like a 360 cam.
Dude, that'd be sick.
Yeah,
those Insta 360 cams are like $400. Yeah. You could literally put it on top of this, and it would get that side and that side.
Yeah,
it's sick. It just formats all fucking weird.
Yeah.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, dear Insta 360, please fix your formatting. We'll be forever grateful. But I'm so excited to have you guys here. You guys are definitely, not only great humans, I've known you guys for a bit. You guys are definitely like at the top of the local house and techno scene, which we're gonna get more into that, and I'm excited to kind of learn a little bit more about your guys' roles and all of that. But first off, just like welcome, man. I'm super stoked to have you guys.
Hell yeah, man. I feel like we, the conversation we're about to have, we've had so many of them off camera, like all three of us.
Just as we walked in.
Yeah, I mean, we just had a 30-minute conversation that was absolutely beautiful. Magic was flowing, and then I thought you were recording the whole time, you weren't. It's like, it's just been, it's always been so genuine whenever we're all together. So we're happy to be here, man, for real. And it's cool to check out your new space because I know you've put a lot of work into it. You've done a lot searching for the right partners in this entire building that you guys have with Shoebox and Detroit Move, right? Detroit Move?
Move Detroit.
Move Detroit.
Same thing.
Dyslexic. Move Detroit, but it's really cool to kind of see when you announced that idea and to see how much time and effort that you guys have put into it and to see it all come to life right now and be a part of it and be present with you. It's really awesome, bro. Awesome.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, and I appreciate you, believing in the vision and coming through. It's been a whirlwind. I think last time we saw each other, I was pretty much just DJing and just kind of,
It's always crazy. We take huge breaks.
From chatting with people.
Yeah, no, with CHOFF, what was 2022 was the last time. I was thinking about the Breakaway when I saw you at Breakaway.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, yeah. And then you did a show for us at the house show, I think, for one of our events. It's just been a few years. You had short hair back then.
I know. Look at me now.
Daddy.
Polar opposite to bald daddy.
Yeah. I got enough hair for both of you guys.
Exactly.
But it's always been genuine. Anytime we get together, it's no time has elapsed. It's always a beautiful
always pick it up right away.
Yeah.
And there's that mutual respect to know that if that distance has been, that time has been in between the time that we've chatted, just know we're all getting it. There's always been that common understanding of CHOFF's getting it. We watch you from afar, you watch us from afar. So it's been cool to watch that as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's always fun to just catch up too.
Yeah. A lot to catch up on.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while. And I always praise your adaptability every time I watch your page and just look at what you're doing. It's you're probably the most versatile DJ entertainer.
Swiss Army knife, bro.
Swiss Army knife. It's really
Great
motivating.
Point.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And in the inverse of that, I admire your guys' ability to be so focused and finite in the lane that you're in. I am the type of person that I love saying yes to things, and it doesn't really matter what's thrown at me. I try to just put my own spin on it, but I've always admired the way you guys are just no, this is my lane and I'm not fucking doing anything else. You walked away from the coolest top 40 gig in town basically to pursue your passion, and I don't know if that's something I could ever do. Not that I don't pursue my passion, because I very much do, but just I struggle with saying no to opportunities.
I think a lot of it too, that brings up a really great point in my head where it's I think I had the professional backing of Target, whereas you were full time getting it on your damn self, by your damn self. I didn't have that, and I think when you're in that type of realm, bringing in income and all of these things are very substantial ways to bring in that income, you have to do those things. There is no ability to be able to think I don't have to take these 3 gigs Friday, Saturday, and then a day party on Sunday with the top 40 crew, because if I don't do that, I just lost out on X amount of dollars, and then X amount of dollars I need to acquire somewhere else. And for me, it was always Target. That was always my foundation. And like, I talked about it a lot as I was kind of pulling away from Target and stuff, but like, I think that's in part why, for me, I was able to just launch myself into what Teknono was from DJ Nono, because you and I know each other since DJ Nono days, even Ish and I as well. So it's like, I always had that backing from Target financially, and that's like, we were talking about it the other day. There's this book that's called Steal Like an Artist, and in that book, he gifted it to me. It was one of the best books that someone's ever given it to me, and the message in the end of this book was like, don't quit your 9-to-5 job, because having that 9-to-5 where you know you're structured, you build your creative routines outside of that, but also it gives you the financial backing to never have to worry about doing things that are creative to make money, and that's like a necessity. When you put those constrictions on creativeness and music and what we do and DJing and art, it's like that's when you start to have to do things that maybe you don't want to do for money, because that's your sole source of income. So that's one thing that I was always grateful for with Target, and you know, even Brian and Chrome too, they were always so supportive. Like whenever I told them like I didn't want to do this anymore, they were supportive. And then if I wanted to go back and do a DJ No thing, they were super nice about it. And they're like, dude, fucking come back. It's always family with those boys. And then it comes down to like choosing the people.
Well, I want to say though too is that even though, like you said, you say yes all the time, I think both of us say yes a lot of time too, even though you mentioned that we stay in our own lane.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he's got his business with Powerhouse right now, Teknono, No Nonsense Promotions. I'm running my own label. I'm a registered nurse. Tennis season just started over the summer right now. So our bandwidth is pretty much maxed out at all times. And, you know, when we have conversations with people that don't understand our world, well, it's like you have to understand that we're involved in 3 to 4 different worlds that are all opposite of one another. So, and we are trying to manage to the best of our ability, and sometimes we might come off as a little bit sharper around the edges, but it's just because we are completely maxed out at all times. And I told you this, I'm in the business of now making my life a little bit more quieter, and really just dig into the aspect of what's really important, because I think all of us can run around and act busy, but I think everyone busy is a slang word for actually not doing the right things. Mm-hmm. It's there's no intention behind it, because we're so addicted to the speed and dopamine of different things, and we can act like we're doing the right things, but we are missing the most important element, which is, hey, is this speaking truth to my inner soul? And I don't have an answer for that. I don't. All I'm doing is I'm raising the question of what is important for thyself. So
we go back to thyself. We had that conversation,
in the last podcast. Yeah,
knowing thyself. I think we have each other, and we're so interconnected in each other and how, like, what we need and when we need it, and we're learning more and more every day, to where some people don't have that connection with somebody that's that intense. Like, if there's one thing that we have in common, it's the level of intensity and the max capacity that we reach and all the things that we do. But like we check each other just as intensely, and I think that's where we kind of separate from others, is like the intensity that others perceive from us. Just imagine that behind closed doors, which is just him and I, and we're dissecting why this happened or that happened, or these things that we're creating or that. It's like,
and with that intensity,
it's a fucking firecracker.
Yeah,
brother.
It's not a smooth ride. I mean, you can imagine when there's a disagreement in the household, CHOFF. I mean, it gets pretty intense.
Yeah, it's like two Rams just
exactly. So, but
it's intention, though. We do those things with intention, and we know what our mission is together, and we know who we are singularly, but we know who we are together, and we're learning more about who we are together every single day. And I think you know, if you feel lost in life, and if somebody out there is just like really struggling with like finding that confidence to do things, like just sit in stillness for a second and ask yourself, like, who are you? Like, what is the mark you want to leave in the world? Like, your lifespan is literally just like your imprint in the sand. Like, when you're on a beach and you're walking and you leave your handprint, like you go back later on and the handprint's still there. Like, what do you want that to look like as you lead and live your life? I know one thing, and it's out wherever I'm going, he's coming too. That's like pretty much, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty much like one thing I know in confidence I can say. And all the rest, I really don't fucking care, because we're having fun, and that's all that matters. And that's Bald Daddy energy in a fucking nutshell.
I love that.
Choff's like, oh damn, it's a lot of testosterone in the room right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of it.
Boy, these boys are hammering.
No, I
Any thoughts? Penny, for your thoughts?
I have a lot of thoughts. For one, it's just like, you know, I admire the sense of clarity that you have when you talk about these things. You know, it's I always try to have that conversation with myself. Like, am I staying like, does this resonate with my soul? Like, am I able to fit this into my big picture in some way? You know, some things are different than others, but yeah, that's just hearing the way you speak about it was really cool, and I feel like a lot of people could get some value out of that. One thing I really wanted to ask you guys on in the realm of that kind of synchronicity between you two is how has the music and the creative process really thrived since you guys became friends? Personally, I know, like, you know, I've gotten a lot more serious with producing in the past few years, and one, like, the single thing that has allowed me to, like, get out of the box that I was in, with just in terms of skill set and, like, just where I was at with my flow and everything, is working with other people and, like, finding great collaborators. So I would just love to hear, you know,
I'll let you lead that
what
one,
that's like.
This is like, you know, production has always been your lead realm.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely talk about it in from an invite only perspective and an Ismo perspective. Look, I think invite only is something that we have so much respect for one another, where when the idea comes in mind, we respect each other's ways of producing and creating. And we actually, when we go up north to Noah's Cottage, and we essentially create a plan of like what we want to tackle. And I created this thing which I call a 30-30 method, which we both sit, let's just say me and you are working, Choff, and 30 minutes I work on my side of the project, 30 minutes you have a project too on your side. In 30 minutes we have to flip. There's no way about it. Like, you can be as disgusted at me for doing that. This is where
those intense conversations come through.
And this is where Noah's very uncomfortable. He's very uncomfortable with it.
Not uncomfortable. Let's just check it.
Well, what's the word you would use?
I want to finish. I'm like right there and I want to finish, but like I haven't finished yet. But there have been times where he's checked me and I'm like, all right, fuck it, finish it.
Yeah, because there is a moment in which you're allowing your brain to switch and the energy continues to flow. Yeah. So in that, you never get really stuck. And through the process that we've been going about it, I don't question. I think Rick Rubin really made an impact in my life in that regard. Is I don't question how art comes. I understand the things that I need to look for in the matter of mix downs and placement, but whatever comes in the moment in which creatively could spark at any time, I'm going to write that out and I'm going to believe it. I don't think about the labels. I don't think about if it's a particularly like a techno record, a minimal record, a house record of any kind. I just trust the process that's being given to me at that specific moment, in the present moment that we're in. And then thereafter, just like anything, it could be a hot garbage record, or it could be something where it's like, okay, if we were to come back to it, what would that record look like? And then, of course, we have coming the next record that we have coming out. Was It Real? Which was made. The idea was initially came from that trip to up North Cottage with Noah, so we're really, really excited.
Our most recent one, and that was just a perfect display of like our process. Like, this process was something that Ish came back from Ibiza and was like, yo, this is the way that we're gonna do things, and I was like, I trusted him. and to tie it back into like why invite only works the way that it does is like we have that trust, like there's that honor and that respect that he talked about, and that trust where if he's passionate about something, I'm not questioning why, I'm questioning, okay, what do you need from me? And we made that record, and I had an old friend from high school, Carly Lusk, that finished the vocals on it. We got the vocals back, and then I ended up, finishing the arrangement on that, sent it back to him, and he's like the mix and master kind of, aficionado, so he did that, and then we got it over to actually Temper. We wanted Rob Small, who does Solid Grooves, which this may be getting too deep in the weeds, but like this is the kind of this process and coming together, but like then we sent it off to the mastering engineer, and now it's coming out on KMS on the 26th of June. It's our first time collectively working with the vocalists like that. And I think, that 30-30 kind of rule, it gets you out of your head, and I struggled with that. Like he was kind of alluding to that as he was saying, like we switched and shit like that. And then it was like, I get his laptop with a different idea. He gets mine. It's like sometimes I need to finish something in my head before I can transfer it. Because if I don't, it gets lost.
Yeah, it could be also, and then this is with the conversations we had where it's the technical aspect of getting your idea across might take a little bit longer than me.
Definitely.
So then I have to respect that. But I think that the 30-30 method works in which it stimulates your mind to continue pushing forward without feeling that there's a wall. And if there's a wall for you, that's when I come in. Because you're only going to be stuck for 30 minutes. So it's like, even if you can't fix something, well, there's another person right behind you that's going to help you out. And it's just fascinating with the records that we've released. There's always a message beyond just having a record out. And I just think about where we were with Will You last year, and now Was It Real, and everything that happened.
Because this is like a follow-up. This is a follow-up, and it's ultimately almost a year exactly, because we did it. That was on the
yep.
So it was on that was
Miami Comp,
so
Miami Sampler,
a year.
So just a little bit over a year, and certainly like a lot of things that happened in my personal life. I think this record really, the people that need to hear it will hear it, and they will know what I'm talking about. So,
and I think that, to pass it back over to you and to kind of answer your question as well, is like, as you focus more on production and getting out of that box that I feel like you and I both were in at a specific time where we were doing these top 40 shows, and you got to really like play this pop music, and you got to really like take these type of requests and stuff. You just have to be able to separate yourself as a DJ and as an artist, because you're a very good fucking DJ. Like, there's not a lot of
you're one of the best,
people
man, because you're so
do
versatile.
what you do, bro. And like, that's, you need to understand that is different than who is in that chair right where you're sitting right now making music. You may be able to play the music you make in the studio as CHOFF, but is CHOFF the artist? And if you don't know the answer to that question yet, I feel like that would be a good place to start, because DJ CHOFF there ain't motherfuckers like that. There's not a lot of people that DJ like that, like you do. But if you're trying to produce music like DJ CHOFF, then you may have that disconnect in the music, and you may not be, like Ish said, Rick Rubin, taking those signs and messages from the universe, translating that back into your art, because ultimately that's what art is. And you're translating a different art form as DJ CHOFF than you would as a producer. And I think I struggle with that so much as DJ No-No, and even Teknono at the beginning, because I still wasn't fully separated. He fucking held my hand throughout that whole process, because he's like, he came in, Ball Daddy energy already fucking engraved in, like, we're fucking producing, we're doing this, we're doing that, and I'm like, well, this is all fucking new to me. Like, I was still kind of stuck in that DJ No-No mentality. I let go of that and just kind of let the universe do what the fuck it needed to do, and that's when everything started to make sense from a production standpoint, I feel like.
Yeah, that's a really good point that you bring up, because to answer your question, I at this stage, like, CHOFF is the DJ and the artist, right?
And that's fair. Yeah.
And I feel like while they very much are like two separate worlds, like what I do in the studio versus what I do in the club on Friday and Saturday night, they're very separate, but the lines often blur. And at least for me, they kind of like feed each other, right? It's like, I've gotten like a fair amount of gigs like where I'm just booked as CHOFF, where I'm playing my own shit, and I probably wouldn't have those if I didn't have this like resume of all this shit I've done at, as just DJ CHOFF without the production stuff. And I definitely like, I've thought about like starting other aliases and stuff like that. And this is like doesn't just pertain to me too. Like I'm sure there's other people in the world listening to this that are in a similar boat. So I don't know. As like a label, someone that works at a label and someone that made that transition, like I'd love to hear you speak on just like trying to play both roles at once.
Are you saying both roles in terms of like the label and the artist?
I mean in terms of like the DJ and the artist, like can those lines can those be the same? Yes,
but I think Teknono is a different entity and a different experience than what DJ Nono was. So I had that separate, clear separation to where I was not releasing music at any time as DJ Nono. I only did like a mix here or there or whatever. As Teknono, it was like, this is Teknono, it's house and techno. You're not going to hire Teknono to play rap music.
Yeah.
You want that, it goes back to DJ Nono. And I think, just understanding, going back into like some of the old opportunities that I had, or like the old gigs that I used to do as Teknono, but like keeping it as DJ Nono, those were like some of the most eye-opening experiences for me, because it was like the people that go to these events, and there's no shame in this game, but the people that go to the events where DJ Nono used to DJ are not there for the love of the music overall, right? I'm not saying that there isn't people there for the love of the music, but it's more of I'm gonna go stand in the club around a bottle of vodka and look for the next fucking hyena to take outside. Like, it's not the same as if you were to go to a Magic Stick, a Big Pink, a TV Lounge, a Marble Bar, or those type of experiences. So I think having that shift in the way that I attach to a crowd really helped push me full speed into like, okay, this is what I'm doing. And I feel like the confusion I had at the beginning wasn't necessarily confusion of whether or not I could make music as Teknono and detach from DJ Nono. It was just like, did I want to do that forever? And I think when I made the decision to do it forever, that's when everything made sense. And having a person that's so supportive and also intense by your side, again, I'm always going to relate it back to that. It's like, you're only as powerful as the people that you keep around you. So if you have the right people around you, could be a lot, could be a little, you can go wherever you want to go. You just have to ensure the people around you are going to push you to where you want to go. And I think for you, what I initially said was based on the assumption that you wanted to separate them. If in your head you are one thing and that is CHOFF, then I would say just focus on like producing and getting the reps in now. You know what I mean? We're not this idea of being an artist and in a year from now you're going to be a label manager, you're going to have a big hit, and then 2 years from now you're going to be touring as an artist, and then 4 years from now you're going to be playing all these shows and it's all your own music and it's open format. Like, everybody has different paths to the same place, 6 feet in the ground or a fucking urn on a fireplace.
Isn't
so at
that
the end
truth?
of the day, don't take life so seriously, and understand the way that I fucking get to the end and the way he gets to the end and the way you get to the end, they're all different. It's all about your ability to learn, but stay detached and just understand that we're all just figuring it out.
Yeah, I would like to add to that, because I think what's important is, look, I'm different than both of you. I started in the position where I started with tech house, but it was house music from the get-go. RN Ismo has always been house music, and it's shifted to minimal. So I never had that shift in which, I'm playing top 40 clubs and now I want to make underground music. It was never that. But I do want to point out, which I think you mentioned as well, like, I was initially, my beginning of my career when I was just minimal, right? I would say that now it's a little bit more open. I'm open to collaborations. I'm open to different ideas.
Yeah, I just saw you post something with Versace or something.
Yeah, we're going to be working on a collab as well. But I also, I have a collab that's where it works with potentially being a vinyl record. You know, so I think what's important is, look, Chop, I mean, when we're going to talk in 10 years, 20 years, it's about the work that you're going to put in and how consistent you are. And that's how people are going to know who you are. And we have this conversation.
Often.
This year, yes. This year specifically at Movement, this is the first time where I felt, and it took me 8 years to feel like I'm in the industry. People respect me and they respect what I have to say. And people are coming up to me and they're like, yeah, we love what you're doing. Keep it going. And I was in awe because I started in my basement of 1120.
Hell yeah,
this 14 Mile Roadhouse, okay? And ultimately gotten to a point where I'm getting respect worldwide. So it comes back to, well, this is year 8 for me. What is it going to look like in year 16? So I'm looking for ways to get better and understanding things. There's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, which is, hey, CHOFF is business only. Boom. He only makes this type of music. Here's what his releases are. There's nothing personal. I'm more of a personal guy. People love me for who I am. I'm the sheriff of the dance floor. This is the new motto of 2025 now. People were excited at Movement. I mean, the amount of stories that I saw, people
wait
were
until the
looking
public
for me.
sees your fucking new fit, because no one has any idea that's
Which is, we're doing a shoot with Max tomorrow. So that we haven't done a shoot in about a year and a half. So then we're gonna actually have new photos going up on the socials as well. I'm really excited, but it comes back to, look, I love this. I love the music scene. I love the entertainment portion. And just like Rick Rubin says, I'm not here to judge myself on where it goes. I just know that for the reasons that I'm in the game, they're for the right reasons, and no one's going to stop me. And we're going to talk about this in 30, 40 years. And this is the separation. The people that we admire the most, the only difference between them and us is the fact that they stuck through all of it. And it's easier said than done because life throws a lot of challenges. I mean, look, I lost my mother 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. And I have learned more about myself as a man to go through such harsh pain of reality that life threw in me. And now I feel like this is my new next chapter. And I'm really doubling down on RN Ismo and Invite Only on the music and just being the entertainer for the people.
When you mentioned it too while we were speaking off camera, I think you just said something about being intentional. It's really it. We're just trying to be intentional, and I'm going to answer your question with questions. Who is CHOFF? What do you want to be known for? Then let your music guide you.
You said, what do I want to be known for?
Yeah, who is CHOFF, and what do you want to be known for? What's the impact you want to leave or make on the world? And then once you have those two answers, you'll understand how to get to the ending of your music.
What's your gut telling you right now?
Yeah.
In this moment or just in general? Dude, I mean,
I guess if you had to answer that question right now, who is CHOFF and what's the impact you want to leave on the world, or what do you want to do with that?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
I mean, right now it's like, my whole goal has been just to make people smile, to bring up the energy in environments, I love being the guy, right? I love getting the call that's like, hey, we have this like crazy idea, like we're doing this thing, Jelly Roll's gonna be there, you're gonna I love those moments where I just get to like take this abstract role and turn it into something awesome.
Yeah,
like,
and morph it into your version.
Morph it into my version. And as that's evolved, that's become a lot less of like throwing darts at the board and a lot more of like, I know exactly what to do in this moment and exactly how to structure it and all of that. So in terms of like what I want to be remembered for, I do want my identity to be more tangible. So that's been a big piece of like the engine of like what's pushed me to write, go hard with writing music and collaborations and all that sort of thing, is because I feel I do bring a lot more to the table than just press and play and waving my arms in the air,
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, even just the way I've been able to like collaborate with a bunch of different people and like bring all these different styles of music together, like I definitely see that as being a big piece of my puzzle. But two, I just want to be someone that like encourages the community to grow. You know, the reason I started Shoebox isn't because I wanted to have a side hustle. It's because I wanted to have a community space where I can invite friends in, new and old. I can invite people I've never met in. We can have a space to, you know, come together that isn't clouded by alcohol or substances or loud noise or, you know, a party environment, and build and see where we align and, you know, put stuff on the record to look back to. One of my favorite things in the whole world is like looking back at my old podcasts from half a decade ago or whatever, and hearing people say, oh, you know, what I want to do is this. I want to open this store. I want to do this. And then it's like, when I listen now, it's like, holy shit, like you have a store now.
Someone
like you
did that shit, bro.
And like there's nothing cooler than that to me. So it's, I guess as far as what I want to be remembered for, it's a lot of things, but you know, musical curator is a huge piece of it. Community curator is a piece of it. And I want to be looked at as someone that people are like, this guy's doing his best, and encourages them to do their best, you know? Because
I told you you're already that.
I was gonna say, I literally was gonna say the same shit. Like, you're already there.
You're already doing.
So the battle is more internal than anything. It's like you accepting the fact that you're doing it. Like, is it to the scale that you want? I think that's where the question now lies. I feel like you're doing a very good job at doing exactly what the fuck you just said you wanted to do, but you have to check your own ego and be like, okay, I'm doing this shit.
Or is that of an imposter syndrome that you don't believe?
Yeah, it could be that too.
I don't personally feel an imposter syndrome too often because I just don't really think that way. Like, you know, I say what I have to say, and I rarely sugarcoat shit. I just lay it out, and I don't know. I feel very fortunate to not be chased by imposter syndrome too much.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of that comes into play when it's like you're attached to understanding how much you fucking put in to get to where you're at. I feel like imposter syndrome sometimes, and I say this with an undergraduate in psychology and criminal justice. So like I'm in no way, shape, or form a PhD student, and everything I know is self-taught or through that education. But imposter syndrome comes from a lack of confidence in understanding the fucking shit that you did to get you to where you are. And I think that sometimes when people are put in specific scenarios and they get these things, but they haven't necessarily put that amount of work in, or maybe they just haven't been that in tune with themselves to remember that work they put in, that's when imposter syndrome happens. I think you know exactly how much work that you put into what the fuck you have now. You just need to accept this is where I am now. It's natural to have a need to want more, but like also learn to be content too. It's something I'm struggling with because I'm fucking 100% of the time, and I'm never content. And when you're not content, you're not resting. When you're not resting, you're not healing. When you're not healing, you're dying. Yeah,
I mean that's a very true point.
If you write down where you're at, like assess it from a business standpoint, financial standpoint, musical standpoint, overall mental standpoint, like, are you happy? Okay, where do you want to go? And then make your plan to get there, because you're already doing everything that you said that you wanted to do.
Yeah,
and we respect the fuck out of you.
100%.
We respect the fuck.
I mean, you're one of the few that have played with us at every form. DJ Nono, Teknono, invite only, RN Ismo.
Yeah.
God only fucking knows what else. I mean, we're doing a podcast right now, so invite only experience. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have literally, as
we
CHOFF,
always loved you from afar. It's so funny we haven't talked in 3 years.
3 years.
I know, it's crazy.
But like from afar, dude, you are doing it. And I think a lot of people are in the same position that you are. They just don't realize that it's not that they're not where they want to be. They just haven't realized it yet because they haven't sat still.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of it too is just keeping your head down and like getting the reps in, you know, like I very much have the self-awareness to see that, like, yes, like I've accomplished a lot of what I want to accomplish, and on paper I should be like through the moon ecstatic. And don't get me wrong, I am very ecstatic.
Sure.
But I also have the awareness, I guess, and this is, you know, for people that are kind of struggling with where to go next and whatever they're doing. I think a huge piece of what keeps me going every day is just keeping my fucking head down, inviting people in the studio, getting in the gym and working out, getting in here and cooking up, just reps. And I mean, you slow down, you go down. I think that it's easy to like paint this picture of where you quote unquote want to be. And it's basically you sitting on this pile of everything you did and your feet are kicked up and you're on the beach and maybe you're flying on a private jet every couple of weeks to go do whatever, do this or do that. But it's like that construct is not going to yield the results you think it is. You're going to get depressed at the top if you don't keep moving. You know what I mean?
Do people actually want that? I don't want that. I think I could say confidently he don't want to sit on a pile of all that shit.
Yeah.
Like we don't ever want to stop doing what we're doing because we're so passionate about helping people and making people dance and getting people lost in the groove and just being ourselves that it's like I don't really see the end goal. I just know what I want to do. And the rest is just going to kind of happen. And I think maybe, don't be too hard on yourself. Know that you've come a really long way and you've accomplished a lot, but also don't lose that grit. There's a difference between sitting still and resting. There's two different things. Like being stagnant in life is not the same as resting, because resting has purpose. It is blocked time that you are in a parasympathetic state and your body is restoring, replenishing on a cellular level. So if we wake up every day and we write a to-do list and we do all these fucking things, why aren't we treating like our health the same way? We should. If we write a to-do list for the things we need to accomplish, there should be a health bucket in there. Because the more that you prioritize your health, and I've learned this the hard way over the last year, literally jumping into nothingness and going from making a shitload of money at Target to my first paycheck being $400 and being kicked so fucking spiritually hard in the cock. You learn what's important and what's not, but like you learn to prioritize your health so much more, because at the end of the day, what did you say? You don't slow down, you go down?
Yeah, you slow down, you go down.
You slow down, you go down. Rest isn't slowing down. It's like we're all, at the end of the day, we all have a battery life.
Mm-hmm.
And if you plug your phone in when it's at 69% and then charge it back to 100, like you diminish the battery life that you have. But like sometimes you need to let that phone die and then plug it in to replenish that, but it'll never go back to the same. Every single time we go down to sleep, we're losing that molecular amount. So like everything you do right now matters. Everything you consume, everything, and that goes from like a data, like content to, and maybe you could talk about this too, because like, you and I have had discussions about like Instagram and dopamine and shit like that, but like what you consume on Instagram is going to infect or impact your soil of your mind. What you consume from a food standpoint, I mean, you have your health things that you've gone through and stuff like that. I've had my stuff. It's like everything really does matter. So like analyze yourself from that perspective. You'll be able to find that happiness.
The only thing I would add is I think I just don't want this to be a cookie cutter type of podcast where it's like do great things and great things will happen and like don't judge yourself and it's all like all the things you hear like yay, it's all great and fantastic. I think the one recommendation that I would say, and I think you mentioned it to health, at least for me, the simplest way to just get more sleep, if you can just optimize sleep and make that a priority. I mean, look, I love sleep, and it's always been something that I really focus on. Like, I know that if I slept for 6 hours and 8, my body understands what's going on. Mm-hmm. And I think that, like you mentioned, rest, I always try to make sure that I get at least
good with that for sure
7 to 8 hours.
Very stern.
And very stern about it. Like, hey, like I need my sleep because I know long term it's only, like you said, it's only going to add up. So I try, like, again, we can look at all these little things. I just try to keep it
that
simple.
could literally
Try
be
to
a
keep it simple,
podcast
man.
in and of itself.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of what I've been focusing on the past few months, too, since we got this space, and I'm tapped in with the health
and
community
wellness, bro,
now.
fuck
Yeah, I mean, dude, the saunas every week, making sure you're getting good whole foods. The dopamine thing is huge. I've been kind of on a...
What about caffeine? Because I'm sitting here, dude, I'm just sitting here drinking my Rise coffee, you know what I'm saying? This shit is fire, but like Rise, it's a mushroom coffee. Like I have like a little discount code that I can provide the people that are listening to this, whatever, it's NNF. But like this stuff has changed my life. Number one, I used to be ripping like 1,000 milligrams of caffeine a day. I'm lucky if I get 100 to 150 now.
I average more than that for sure.
Well, this kid walked out the womb drinking black tea, you know, in Russia. So like
Russian culture will just drink
that's
tea all
him,
the time.
you know.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, how can it's so difficult for me to accept the fact that I am not 1,000 milligram of caffeine a day Noah anymore.
Yeah.
So why am I expecting to have the same output as a fucking crackhead?
Do you drink caffeine?
I do drink caffeine. I love coffee. I try not to do it after 2 p.m. now if I can. I mean, up until like 2 weeks ago, all day, every day, black coffee.
You know?
I like the nitro brew too, so that's like 5 times.
Yeah,
Yes.
diesel, baby. That's
Yeah.
diesel.
So
Well, I'll bring you some Rise. You can check that stuff out because I was always like, I needed that like espresso. I'm Italian. We like espresso. I need 4 shots at minimum. But like since I started being consistent with this, it's the nootropic impact, like the lion's mane, the reishi, the turkey tail, the different things for your gut. Like this thing in here, sleep is top priority. Your gut health, dude, that is your second brain. And if you don't figure that thing out, everything else is screwed.
Yeah.
And that was like a good thing for me is like cutting my caffeine intake because also sleep, you want to prioritize sleep, you lower the caffeine. No wonder my sleep sucks.
It's crazy because I can just rip.
Oh, he could drink black
and
coffee
fall
at
asleep.
11:30 p.m. and sleep by 11:35.
Yeah, I can because I always before I go to shows I always drink like a Bang Energy and be like, no problem. I'll go to sleep, no problem.
I'm pretty good with like crashing after caffeine too. One thing that's also helped a lot is I've gotten really serious with electrolytes. I do electrolytes like 2 or 3 times a day.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's been huge.
Which one do you use?
I use Ultima.
I've used Ultima before. You can get it at Whole Foods.
Yeah, Whole Foods. We found that to be the best. We did a lot of research. We used to, and this is no shame to any brands because we would love sponsors on this podcast, but we tried like the liquid IVs for a while. We realized that you're basically eating candy.
Yeah, no,
like
those
they're
are
so hard to
packed
find a good
full of
one.
sugar,
Yeah,
and then even the zero sugar ones have so many chemicals that just aren't ideal. Element is really good, but also Element uses a form of sodium that isn't the best. So like at the end of the day, this is why people are so fucking unhappy, I feel like too, because like we have 7 million different varieties of one thing and we're all trying to figure out which one is the best.
it's so tough.
And you get lost in the fucking sauce. You just spent 3 hours looking at Celtic salt or Celtic salt for 3 hours and you still haven't like, okay, what one am I going to buy now? It's like, to tie it back into production, pick a fucking sample, keep it fucking moving. Pick a salt, keep it moving. Don't take life too seriously. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Like to tie it all back together. And that's something I learned from him. Just pick a fucking snare and get the fuck out. Keep moving.
Yeah.
If you sit going through all the samples, you're never gonna finish any projects.
It's ridiculous.
I'm learning that, but it's the same thing with life. Pick one, try it out. You like it, perfect. Rock with it. If you don't, keep it moving.
I'm also just a big fan, and in terms of like the production conversation here, of just like get it done and keep it moving. Like you can always fix it later.
Yeah.
Like it's so much easier to swap out a snare than like figure out what your whole progression is gonna. I don't know. It's just like
and you have the ability to like go try it out in public. Like get it to a point where you mastered it and you got it in a good spot. And thank God we have Ish because he does all that kind of stuff before we actually send it to get mastered. We test it out. We listen to how it sounds. We listen to the leveling. We then go back. We talk about it. Then he makes those adjustments. Like the reason we've been as successful as I feel like we have been is like we're understanding what we're good at where our strengths are and where our opportunities are. You're not gonna see me mastering shit. That's not my job. That's his fucking forte. He's good at that. But like also too, like I'm the one that's talking with these venues and like trying to handle these shows.
I appreciate you mentioning that because I remember brought up a point where you're like, do you see the value that I bring in? And that you're like, oh, maybe I haven't really thought about it.
Yeah. Like he's that guy. He's the production guy. So like, why am I sitting here expecting him to pull his weight in the terms of like communicating with venues when that's not his fucking thing? That's my thing. So like when you do, and that's important for people that have duos, is like understand what your thing is and then set your expectation with your person and keep it fucking moving. Now, granted, I'm not sitting here saying that there aren't situations in the past where it's like, yo, toss a basic master on there and like, let's listen to this in the car. I've done that for sure. But if the system and the cogs are meshing, he's typically the one that's doing the mixing and mastering.
And it's like, I just know that that's his strength, and I have no problem reaching out to clubs and communicating with them.
Yeah.
I just know that, hey, Noah, you're the guy that just knows how to talk to people, knows how to curate a right email. I'm going to just let you do that and that you take the lead on that. Production stuff, anything that involves making music, just give me the reins. We'll get it done, and we'll get it done in an efficient manner. I mean, quite frankly, Was It Real? That's coming out. Tight deadline. Tight deadline we had to make. So, and we certainly.
And I will say shout out to Carly because she did a phenomenal job on those vocals. There were some conversations that were had like after the fact, and like, you know, it just boils down to having good communication with the people you're working with in art. Like you have to.
And we're still learning, so we're not perfect by any means.
Like at the end of the day, like, you know, she did a really good job on those vocals, but it was a tight deadline, and like we both, all right, you do this, I'm gonna do this. You do this, I'm gonna do this. You do this, I'm gonna do this. Put it on a whiteboard, commit it to the universe. Get the fuck in there. That's the difference.
And that's, I think it's important too, because I had a conversation because I jumped on one of the live streams from my buddies and I said, listen, this is a great example where when we go and do track feedback sessions, you guys are focusing on the bullshit that does not matter. Oh, you can use a multi-band compressor there. Like, oh, you can, you know, boost this. I'm like, listen, your track is 3 minutes long. This needs to be 6 minutes. This needs to have an arrangement, and you got to keep it pushing. You got to keep it pushing. Get this arrangement done. And people look at me like when I say use a reference track, like I'm saying something that's outside of the Bible, and I'm just saying,
it's like a sin.
It's a sin
to use a reference track.
No, like some people, dude. This is what happens.
You had a direct experience with that, but this is what I'm like, guys. Use a skeleton. Understand how the elements are coming in. You have all the elements that are already there. There's no shame in using a reference track. And I'm telling you, where's the camera? There's no shame in using a reference track. And that you're going to get the tracks that you may not love out into the world for the audience to actually give a subjective experience to. It's a sin for you to hold on to the records that are on your hard drive. It's a sin for you not to finish your records and then just talk about a 16-bar loop in front of your peers as a track feedback. And I was just sitting there and I was just listening. I'm like, maybe they can give something tangible. And don't get me wrong, it's important to know the technicalities. It's important to know the mix down. It's all important. What is your idea? Where's this going? How are you going to get this out into the real world? That's what I'm passionate about, because a lot of people, you can go anywhere in the world, any YouTube channel, any sort of community, and you can discuss how to layer a kick, how to put the snare and make it wide, how to make vocals bigger. All of these are great. You are not finishing tracks.
Boom.
And that's a problem that needs to be fixed.
And if you want some help with that, you can join us over at Our Tribe on the Circle app, and we will help you out with that. How about that?
Yes, ourtribe.com.
CHOFF, this has been fucking beautiful, man. We love you, bro.
I love you guys back.
Beautiful conversation. I feel like, I don't know how long you want to go. We could probably rip this for another 6 hours.
Yeah, I mean, we got time if you guys want to.
Of course, no. It's like we rip long sets too.
Dude, yeah.
We rip long sets too.
Something I did want to talk to you guys about before we wrap up is the culmination of music and fitness. And I know you just did the Techno 5K that Harrison put on. That looks super sick. I have DJ'd in the fitness industry for a while now. You know,
you have M45.
I used to. Yep, I used to.
F45. Sorry.
I used to do that place, and now, you know, I DJ a lot of the classes here and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've always felt like you know, I've been on ClassPass, so I like went to a lot of the gyms around town, and I see what people do and what the music they play and stuff. And it feels like such an afterthought. Like music and fitness. I and this is no shame to anyone, but I went to like a boxing gym a couple weeks ago, and they're playing like Pitbull in the gym, and like,
Bro, I'm about to activate with this question. Keep going.
Yeah. So
I love that you brought this up.
Yeah. So first of all, I think it's weird that I can't name one artist that specifically makes like fitness music, right? Or like music that you can even.
What is fitness music?
I just mean
anything is fitness music if you have an aficionado that knows what the fuck they're doing. You can't expect people to think of a fitness class like you and I do. I was just thinking about this while I was in the shower today, and it's crazy that you bring this up. Why don't people prioritize the music and the environment and the experience in a fitness class? It's not just kick your fucking shit in for 55 minutes and then go home and eat a banana. It's like a whole experience, and you are unraveling how, for some lack of a better way, like God's blessings, I was able to leave a corporate job working 60 hours a week and go be a personal trainer and make it. In today's economy, one of the hardest we've all been subjected to ever. Why? Because it's not just being a trainer. It's not just the class or the workout. It's the experience. You're an experience guy, Choff Daddy. Anything you put your fucking brand on is an experience. You know, if Choff's on that flyer, there is a specific experience that's about to be provided.
Well, here's the thing, guys. This is a beautiful thing. This is going to be on a podcast right now. Why don't we just do something like this? Why don't we do Choff? Like, think about it, right? Curated events, right? Invite only presents, and it's actually a class here.
Yeah, well, right? I would love to. And part of the reason I bring this up is because...
And then people are working out, and they're like, you know, and we're just ripping house and techno. Or anything else.
To answer your question, anything's fitness music if you have the right instructor. Dude, in my boxing classes at Powerhouse, I got motherfuckers ripping at 130 BPMs, jab crossing for 30 fucking seconds, but to the beat. I literally, and I have no microphone. I don't need a microphone. I'm just hollering at these people, and they love it.
Yeah.
And dude, we got, Ed, John, we got Val, some of the homegirls too that come in. We're having a blast in there. Why? Because we're having an experience. Dude, I did an Arabic Zumba class with 2 days notice for no reason, and we had a beautiful time. I've never listened to Arabic music outside of NX, okay? It was a beautiful thing. It's all about the experience and the instructor, bro.
Yeah.
That's really it. You're an artist and a DJ, so you think your default is like this music, oh, the DJ like did this, or oh my God. But other people, they don't pay attention to that shit, bro.
Yeah.
So that may be an avenue for you to just uncover a whole different world of what CHOFF is like health and wellness connection. At the center is the smiliest man that I know.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Part of the reason I bring it up is because so I did this EP called Tush Tunes, and it's basically like I call it like suburban tech, right? It's like my take on ghetto tech.
Wow.
It's like all my voice, everything. Like I did that. Wrote the songs, mixed, master, did everything, and it's all like based on movements, kind of. So me and my buddy Logan here like did a collab, and we actually ended up having to cancel the event because the date wasn't good. But we're gonna do it. We're gonna make a makeup date, but we built like a booty workout to go with this Tush Tunes project.
Like a whole experience.
Like a whole experience. So for example, like there's a song Left to Right. You can look it up on Spotify right now. It's one of my tracks. It's like we came up with a workout that was like you're going left to right, doing this booty workout to this Tush Tunes Left to Right song. Yeah. And then like, you know, multiply that times 30 tracks over the course of, 45 minutes to an hour or whatever. I came up with the idea as like doing that as an album release party, and I was like, I've never heard of anyone doing this. And
have you thought about making it like an exclusive NFT experience with that as well?
And that's a great idea.
Because I think it was either Travis Scott or... you want to check that for us, Greg, over there in the box? Somebody,
Jamie.
Jamie. So I was just reading, and it was like a very prevalent rapper, and I can't remember who it was, but he sold 1 million copies of his album as an NFT, and now his fan for $1 a piece. But those are the only copies that you have. So now all of his fans have these NFTs as like one. I don't really understand NFTs.
I thought NFTs died in 2021.
So did I, but Bitcoin and all of this other stuff are coming back, so I think it might actually be a thing now. But he did that, and now his fans have that. You could make it something like that to where you get this booty workout that's specific to these tracks. You get this NFT. It's like, how do you make it more exclusive to where people want this? And it's like they have to come and get it. You know what I mean? Whenever you're selling something, the best way to sell something is to identify what the problem is, tell them all of the things that they're going to need in order to fix the problem, and then tell them what the result is. Make them pay for how to get there.
Look, I think it's our job as creatives, right? We're the ones that are going to go out there and see the little pitfalls. So we like, for example, day parties, pop-ups is a big deal now in house music. People don't want to go to clubs and get fucked up. They want to go and rave from 5 to 9 p.m., full knowingly they're going to get their beautiful 7 to 8 hours of sleep and hang out with their friends. Truth? And guess what? That you've said it. That's how a lot of people feel like. So I think
I have an answer to your question that I'm going to give you two off air. How about that?
Deal.
So I think for me, speaking from what I've been seeing in trends where they're going, look, having DJs and having events around fitness is something that I think can be done. But just like anything, it needs to be where you have your content ready to go. Mm-hmm. You have to make sure that you position your content in a way that's represented well on social media, and you position it in which all of the people that are out there, I mean, you just know, like, hey, 50 people are going to show up, and we're going to have, you got to figure out the audio as well, but it is definitely possible. And it's something that's extremely unique. Oh, man, this is a class? I can actually come here, get a workout, watch the boys rip. I mean, it's 2-for-1 special. Mm-hmm. 2-for-1 special.
I mean, if you have a relationship with Harrison that you can engage in that type of conversation, like, how did you do this? What are the things that I'm not thinking about? Talk to him. Dude's another Swiss Army knife like yourself. Like, the guy used to work for React. He works for Oris now. Is very, very in tune with what the fuck is going on, but also he's got 15 plays ahead that no one else is thinking of. Like, he just straight up just birthed this Techno 5K. Bro, this thing's going worldwide within the next 5 to 10 years. I'm fucking telling you that right now.
It's great. It was great.
It's so
such a great experience
to connect health and wellness with music and do it properly. If that's something that you have a vision for, talk to that man.
Yeah, Harrison's
you know what I mean?
the best.
And to tie it back into that book, Steal Like an Artist, at the end of that book, which we're going to be giving away a copy of that if you go pre-order our Was It Real track that's coming out on KMS Records on June 26th. Pre-order it, DM us a copy of your sales invoice, whatever it is, screenshot, you name it. We're going to be giving away one of those books. In that book, it says, find out who your heroes are, then copy them, and put your own spin on it. It's that simple.
I love it.
Go to the people that are doing it and have already done it. Now, what does it look like if you did it? That's it. Don't overthink it.
It's special. Don't overthink it, kids. Last thing I want to end on. So we haven't got to hang out since you've got this whole deal going on with KMS. So yeah, I want to, I know there's other people that definitely are wondering like what it is you do and what that looks like for you guys. I'd love if just to
I could talk on the context of KMS and you could talk on the context of Ismos, because he owns and operates and runs his own label as well. That is a worldwide known, respected label as well. Mm-hmm. So like in terms of KNS, what does that look like for me? I mean, everything that you kind of see on social media that's the KMS is doing in some way, shape, or form, like it went through these two hands. Whether it was like a digital, it went through my hands digitally, or I was the one sending out the emails to sign and lock in the records. But like as of recent, this past year or so, I'd say 6 to 8 months, we got Dropcatch Kyle involved. He's been helping on the back thing with like bigger projects as like the executive kind of manager doing those things.
I love Kyle, by the way. He's
fucking
so cool.
Gem, dude. Absolutely. He shines as bright as a disco ball. Like that boy is always shining. He's one of us. You know what I'm saying? He's a bearer of that good light and that good love. He just wants to see people do well. And he saw me struggling, and like what not a lot of people know about me and that dude is like that dude was with me in some of my darkest moments. Like he would stay up and Zoom with me until 7 a.m. as I got caught up with all these things, and then at one day he was just like, hey, can I help you with these things? You know what? Yeah, Kyle. Yes, you can. And he started helping me out, and it freed up a lot on my plate. Nate Gossett jumped on board. So now, like, I'm in a position where things that are getting locked in, I'm typically, like, outside of Kevin and Dantes, the last person that it gets shipped off from after the approval comes from Dantes and Kevin. And, you know, really in reality, it's just like what you're doing with all of the things that you have in your space is like being that Swiss Army knife, and you see a problem, you offer a solution, and you help fix it, and you learn from the people that are around you. Like, yes, I'm the label manager of KMS and stuff like that, but like there's still a lot of stuff that I do with and for KMS, like managing the stage at Movement and going and setting up equipment with Munch and Toby at Big Pink for the after party. It's like, you know, I have my title, but I do what the fuck needs to be done. And when Kevin asks me to do something, I do it. And that's why he comes to me when he needs shit done. It's because at the end of the day, if he knows he's going to text me to do something, within 24 hours, it's probably going to get locked in. And if it's not, there's going to be an explanation as to why and a timeline that's going to come to follow. So, you know, it's cool to see KMS starting to really push forward because it's such a prevalent and prominent techno label. It was the label that created the very ground we all walk on. And to be a part in the resurgence of that and somebody that has helped on the back end of things get so many artists a platform to release their music to an already established group of people has been the most remarkable fucking experience in my entire life. I thank God for that every single day. Because it's one thing to have your track downloaded by a big DJ and then supported. It's another thing to watch somebody that you sat with for an hour on Zoom sign a record to the label that you manage, then get into the hands of these bigger artists, and then watch it get played by somebody else and watch their reaction.
Yeah. And I want to really quick just say I feel like you've done a fantastic job with getting your community on board with it. You know, I think just from the outside looking in, I imagine you see a lot of labels where it's like they're putting out good music, but it's like we don't know these people. These are, you know, there's someone that's like kind of popping off across the country, or maybe they have like releases on this one label, so we trust them. Whereas like I feel like with KMS, it's just been like raw Detroit artists, and like that's so fucking dope.
I mean, you got Ready Lex, dude. Devin Jetski had his fucking song played 6 times during Movement, and we just signed another one.
Sick.
Who like people didn't know who Devin Jetski was beforehand. He did some shows and stuff like that, but now he's getting this respect that he earned. He put time into making these tracks, and Kevin loves these tracks. And Kevin played the track 4 times in 24 hours. Okay, wow. But isn't that what KMS is about? At least that's what it's about for me. Discovering the Devin Jetskis and the Radilexes and the JMTs and, you know, giving
Darren
those...
Devine.
Darren Devine, dude.
The number one on KMS Records. How can you forget that?
Right. Well, you know, it's not that we forgot it. It's just we've been able to see so many of these artists go from playing on the alley deck, giving them a shot and releasing a track with KMS and watching them flourish into what they were supposed to be this entire time. KMS, like being a platform for those type of artists... It's difficult sometimes, but like that's what KMS is all about.
And I think also, and certainly I wanted to talk about invite only for KMS as well, but it's you're doing the grunt work for the label, and I'm indirectly part of it because I hear the conversations and you're asking for my advice from what I know and what I've seen. What's unique about KMS is that, like you said, there's a resurgence. Kevin is old school, Dantes is new school, Noah is running the reins for the new school while embracing how KMS came to be. KMS came to be in 1987. 1987. So the record label has so much history in which now people are genuinely paying attention. But I think what was extremely unique is that you guys give power to Detroit first and foremost. And I think people are paying attention, which is extremely powerful. And I wanted to say too, the conversations that I have with people when they release on KMS, I really want them to, and this is something for the people that could be listening as well that are about to be signed to KMS or looking forward to. There's power in that, and you have to carry yourself with that power in mind, which is you are no longer a rising artist. Forget about that. You are the artist that's supported by extremely powerful historical label. And you have to carry yourself with the weight knowing that. Because now you have this release on KMS. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to handle your business now? Because quite frankly, it is all over the world, worldwide, people are paying attention. And guess what? Now your name is coming up a little bit more often, and they want to know what you're cooking during the hours in which, hey, this record is out, what's next? I think for invite only, I would love your opinion on it. I think we're in a position where, and I know, and I'm thankful for you, is we came in right at that resurgence, and certainly through your grunt work, and I came in, of course, is because I'm your best friend, but there is that reciprocity that came in which, oh shit, these boys are a real deal. They're hustling, they're passionate. We give back from a position of understanding what old school is all about while giving an opportunity to the new school. And I think Kevin and Dantes recognized that. And certainly for us is to continue pushing that sound and having that platform. Now to add, Ismos, my label, being in a position where minimal is still an extreme niche of its own in the United States. You know, the minimal tech is from, usually it came from London, UK, Ibiza, Spain, and it's just making its waves into US with Solid Grooves. And I was fortunate enough to be at the pinnacle moment of Solid Grooves when they just had that first party in 2022.
Space Miami,
BB,
the most
Pasa,
profitable that Space
Cruise.
ever had up until that point. At least they sold it out for 24 hours, kept it completely sold out for 24 hours. No one could get in or out that didn't already have a ticket within their capacity range.
And that for me was one of those things like, whoa, this is something where, I loved it but I also understood that this is something that's extremely special. That's only going to grow, but it's going to grow extremely slowly. Just because people are not used to that sound. They don't know what that sound is. When you listen to it on Spotify, you would think it's something that's just constant beat for 3.5 minutes. But then if you really pay attention.
As Suki said, he said, yeah, bro, because he went to the Ants party in at
Ushuaia?
High
Ibiza. Okay.
He goes, bro, it's like a bunch of fucking sounds with no vocals. And I'm like, dude, it should love that. Like, literally.
The longer you're in a scene, it's I think, and I had great conversations. The longer you're in the scene, the longer that you pay attention. When you just strip everything back, you start to understand what really works, and that's what minimal is. And this is where like my biggest inspiration is Pasa. He's got like only 4 or 5 elements.
Yeah,
and
he's one of the ones that's also like in cahoots with Solid Grooves, but also on his own. He was one of the first people I ever saw somebody like Nate Dogg collabed on a Spotify record.
Yep.
Right? So like he's pushing the needle on his own, but also in collaboration with Solid Grooves, and now BB back bigger and better than ever. It's like...
And now they're taking over Los Angeles on October 12th, which I'm going to be there. But to connect the dots with Ismos, I think for me, in the position that I'm in, look, my minimal sound is very Detroit-esque. Everyone I talk to is like, it's not really glitchy. It's very stripped back, and I want it to be that way. I wanted to pave the notion that, hey, this is Detroit minimal tech. It's stripped, raw. It sounds like it's coming out of the 909 machine. There's not much going on, but every single element that's being added in the arrangement, and for the purpose of what minimal is, has such intention. To the ones that really fuck with that type of music, they will know, like, Ish has really taken a specific reason of why this hat comes in at 1 minute and 30 seconds. There's a reason why. There's an open hat, and there's a reason why it's that long or it's that short, and for whatever reason, and just curating the intention behind giving a platform to where, hey, there's Miami minimal, there's LA minimal, now we got the Detroit minimal. And I wanted to give a platform to people that, let's say, it's an expression outside your comfort zone, inside your groove. So to give you an example, my first record was with Danner called No Confise. The guy never made a Latin minimal tech track. This was his first one. And I said, this is what I'm all about. It's giving you a platform which you made this record, you're passionate about it, it's minimal, I want it on my label. And continue pushing boundaries. I mean, look, if someone comes into me and makes Bass House and then they come and all of a sudden make a 10-minute raw minimal track, I'm like, oh shit. Like, I'm excited to hear that. Can you imagine Clank? Maybe I'm talking to Clank right now. Imagine if Clank made a 10-minute raw minimal track.
Pause. He did make a minimal track with you. Why don't you guys release that on Ismos?
That's a good point.
I'm calling you out right now, Mr. Robert.
Yeah, that's true. That we do have one.
And that's with
sitting on the
love,
hard
baby.
drive.
That's with love. I know you're being a daddy. You lost all that weight. You're looking good, but I'd love to hear that minimal track on Ismos. That'd be sick.
Yeah, so that's my platform, and look, it's also in a position where it's new. It's fluid. I'm figuring it out, and we're figuring it out as it goes along. I'm asking for a lot of advice from you as well, and it's something that I really take extremely seriously, which comes to every record has intention, every record has a necessary branding, in addition to also curating the proper shows that hold its weight. And just like we talked about, keep it pushing, continue evolving, continue doing something that feels right in the gut, and then let's talk in 10, 20 years, see what happens.
Do you want to be good or do you want to be great? If you want to be great, you got to.
CHOFF is taking it all in. Just
I know, he's soaking it, but like, it boils down to: do you want to be good or do you want to be great? How many nights are you willing to have where you're up until 2 a.m. and you're getting up at 4 a.m. to go to the gym after staying up and working on all of these label things? Or, for him, it's like he nurses 12 hours.
Every time I have a show, it's after nursing. 12-hour
like
shifts.
People are vomiting out of their ass, like
screaming, yelling, restraints.
Shit, and then he just comes and rips a proper minimal.
45 minutes later, I'm in the club, smile on my face, like nothing happened.
You want to be good or do you want to be great? The main difference is the act of doing the things consistently that you do when you're good, but when you're tired. That's what great is. Just keep fucking doing it. It doesn't matter if you're tired. It doesn't matter if you went to bed at 2 and you have to get up at 4. Some days you're going to get 2 hours of sleep. Some days you're going to get 8 hours of sleep. It doesn't fucking matter. Set your routine. Set your priorities. Make the schedule. Fucking do it. Repeat.
How bad do you want it? I mean, doing it for the right reasons goes back to that first topic we talked about in the beginning. And serving the bigger purpose, because if you're in for the bottles, the girls, the glamour, it's just gonna fade. You're not. It's not sustainable. It's just not sustainable. So that's why this business is extremely difficult. So take that advice as it may.
Yep, ball daddy concerned. Energy, what no one asked for, what everybody needs, baby. Was It Real is out on KMS Records June 26th with Carly Lusk. We love you guys, CHOFF. Fucking love you, bro.
Thank you, guys.
Love you guys. You, Noah, Ish, thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for checking out the spot.
Yeah, and shout out to Shoebox Detroit, Move Detroit for having us.
Yeah.
For real. This spot's fucking sick. If you guys haven't been here, come check it out. They have cold plunges. They have a nice workout space. They have their
really nice workout space.
Like physical therapist that offers different recovery modalities. Logan's up at the front, one of the partners as well. A lot of cool things that are happening here. So shout out to you guys for having us, and we look forward to seeing you guys next time.
Thanks for being here. This is your home now. You guys are welcome back anytime.
Thank you so much.
Hell yeah, we'll talk soon.
CHOFFcast. Yup, it's the CHOFFcast. CHOFFcast.